Hey there, I'm Simon Spalding and welcome to Simon's Cinema. So, it's finally here. Star Wars The Last Jedi premiered last night, and I got to see it in IMAX, so here's my review. So before I get into the actual movie, I was planning on doing a few videos about the rest of the Star Wars series, but the time just got away from me and I didn't end up uploading them, so really quick, here's my thoughts on the series as a whole. So like most people, I think episode 1 is fantastic. I mean, it's the one that started the whole Star Wars phenomenon, so how could I not like it? And then, honestly, The Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite movies of all time. I totally agree with a lot of people in thinking that it's one of the greatest movies ever made. Too bad after that, Return of the Jedi just kinda turned into a kid's movie. I don't hate Return of the Jedi, I just think it's nowhere near as iconic or good as the first two Star Wars. And then my thoughts on the prequels can pretty much be summed up in 2 seconds. They suck. Then 2 years ago, Force Awakens really lifted my expectations because after the prequels, I really needed something bold out of Star Wars, and I got that, even if it does have quite a few parallels with A New Hope. I still really enjoyed it. And then Rogue One came out last year, and I enjoyed it. It's not great. By far the best thing about it is the action sequences. I just couldn't find myself caring much at all about any of the characters. Okay, so now that my thoughts on the entire Star Wars series are out of the way, let's jump right into this review. And just so you know, no spoilers in this review. I'm not going to be that guy who sees the movie early and then spoils it for everybody. So Star Wars The Last Jedi picks up where The Force Awakens left off, with Rey now having found Luke Skywalker, who's been in hiding for decades now, and trying to get him to teach her the ways of the Jedi, as well as come back to the Resistance, where Finn, Poe, Leia, and a host of other characters are fighting a very hard battle against the First Order. And that's really all the specifics I feel like I should give about the plot. I feel like you should go into this movie knowing very, very little about the actual events that are gonna occur in the movie, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. To put it simply, this is a very, very entertaining Star Wars movie, and it provides some twists that I didn't see coming, which was pretty good considering one of the main complaints I had with The Force Awakens was all the parallels it had to A New Hope, but this one doesn't have hardly any parallels to Empire Strikes Back at all, except a couple. That was the main thing I was looking for in this movie to criticize, because if this entire sequel trilogy is just going to be parallels to the original trilogy, I'm done. But thankfully, that's not what's happening. The other big thing I can praise this movie for is how well shot it is. This probably has the best cinematography in the entire saga. And there's one series of shots in particular that I was just totally taken back by. The theater went completely silent because everyone was so shocked at how awesome this shot looked. If you go and see the movie, when it hits, you'll know what one I'm talking about. Also, the vast majority of the acting is very, very good. Daisy Ridley proves once again that she was a great choice to play Rey. She is fantastic in this movie. John Boyega is good again as Finn. Oscar Isaac is great as Poe once again. But to me, the big standout is definitely Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. In this movie, Luke has seen some stuff. He's a very tired, broken, older man, and he plays the part just about perfectly. I loved his performance. Adam Driver, too, is great as Kylo Ren once again. He's a very conflicted villain. He's a person underneath that mask. He's not Darth Vader 2.0. Another thing I liked about this movie is how it handled its fan service, because there's quite a bit of fan service in this movie, but I feel like they handled it better than Force Awakens did. And it certainly handled it better than Rogue One did. There's no forced fan service like in Rogue One where they just show C-3PO and R2-D2 for like 2 seconds because, oh, they're in every Star Wars movie, so we've got to put them in somewhere. Every time there was pretty clear fan service, it still served a purpose to what was going on in the story. But getting into my issues, I feel like they really underutilized a lot of potentially interesting characters. In Force Awakens, a lot of people complained about how they underutilized Captain Phasma because she got like 3 minutes of screen time in this movie. Well, sorry, but she got about 3 minutes of screen time again in this movie, maybe even less. But by far the character that I was most disappointed in is Supreme Leader Snoke. Whenever he was on screen, it was fantastic, but I really wanted to see them flesh him out more. I wanted to find out more about what his deal was, but sadly we don't. The other issue I have is that I think this movie is about 15 minutes too long. There was a plotline involving Finn and a new character named Rose that I thought could have either been shortened quite a bit or cut out nearly entirely. However, having a few problems with this movie doesn't change the fact that I was really entertained by the vast majority of it. In my opinion, I would say this is better than Force Awakens because it took the series in some new directions that I really wasn't expecting, and it got me really excited for what's about to come next in this trilogy. I would definitely recommend you check out The Last Jedi. I mean, odds are you were probably going to watch this movie no matter what I said, but I highly doubt you'll be disappointed. So with all that said, I'm going to give Star Wars The Last Jedi an 8.9 out of 10. Thanks everybody for clicking on this video, and be sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like it, and tell me your thoughts on The Last Jedi if you've seen it down in the comments. Thanks and have a great day.